This is a really interesting question I got from Richmond, Virginia. As a practicing Muslim, I am only allowed to wear certain types of nail polish, those which adhere to Islamic law. Do you know which ones are allowable? Well, I do know the answer. To be clear, I am not a Muslim, and I do not have the qualifications needed to interpret Islamic law. But over the last several years, I've consulted with several Muslim experts in these areas, and I've relied heavily on their expertise. By combining my scientific knowledge with their expert knowledge about specific Islamic laws, I've been better able to determine the facts behind this highly confusing issue as it applies to wearing nail polish. Many companies have recently started marketing halal nail polishes to Muslim women, which has led to confusion about whether these nail polishes adhere to Islamic law. Most of the confusion exists because the term halal implies that all Islamic requirements have been met. But that's not the case for nail polish. Nail polish has separate and different requirements that go beyond being halal. First, let's discuss what it means to be halal certified. What's that? Halal certified simply means permitted or lawful under Islamic law. This certification is provided for foods or cosmetics if they can demonstrate that they don't contain any substances that are forbidden by Islamic law. For instance, drinking alcohol, which is called ethanol, or pork. These are typical examples of things that are not allowed in cosmetics that have halal certifications. Now, halal certifications are actually intended for foods, but they can include other items that might be swallowed. For instance, mouthwash or toothpaste or even lipstick. This requirement doesn't really apply to nail polish, yet some marketers are using the term in a confusing fashion that is misleading many Muslim women. Halal certification is pretty easy to obtain. Companies must pay a monetary fee to the governing body, after which they review the ingredients of the product. Once it's determined that the food or cosmetic products contain no forbidden substances, it can become halal certified. Now, this is very much like a kosher designation. Both halal and kosher have similar goals and requirements. However, nail polish is different from other cosmetics, and it must adhere to another Islamic law that so far has proven impossible for any nail polish to achieve. This law requires Muslims to fully wet their nail plates before praying, and this cannot be achieved if they're wearing nail polish. There's something called a spiritual wash, or Wudu. It's required to be performed before every prayer, and this is extremely important. The ritual wash is used to attain a state of mental preparation for prayer, and to help maintain good physical cleanliness. Muslim doctrine teaches that practitioners must perform a spiritual wash before they pray. If they do not perform this required spiritual wash, their prayers are considered invalid and don't count. In other words, praying without properly performing wudu, the spiritual wash, is like not praying at all. It's pretty serious stuff for practicing Muslims. Since Muslims are required to pray 5 times a day, they must perform a spiritual wash several times a day, which is why most practicing Muslim women do not wear nail polish. If a Muslim does not get their nail plates wet with liquid water, their wudu was not properly performed and thus their prayers don't count. Claiming that water vapors penetrate through the nail polish to the nail plate is not nearly enough. Vapors and traces of moisture do not count as a spiritual wash. Now, I've examined the ingredients and the testing done on nail polish that claims to allow water to pass through the polish to reach the nail plate. In my opinion, these are nothing more than simple tricks designed to fool the public. I'm speaking specifically about a silly test where nail polish was applied to a coffee filter, and then it was shown how water passes through the filter? What? Since when did a coffee filter become a good substitute for the nail plate? This is utter foolishness and trickery in my view. I suspect that I can make any nail polish pass this silly test, so it proves nothing. I believe this test was adopted to fool people into thinking they could perform a proper spiritual wash without removing their nail polish. But that's a false hope. As a scientist with more than 25 years experience developing nail coating products, I can assure everyone that there are no known formulations of any nail polish that allow water to pass through the coating to fully wet the nail plate as required. The simple truth is, no nail polish is compliant with the requirements of a Wudu spiritual wash. Nail polish that claim to be halal compliant are simply declaring that they contain no forbidden ingredients, and that has nothing to do with whether or not the nail polish is Wudu compliant as would be required. Halal cosmetics are fine to wear, as long as they don't interfere with the Wudu spiritual washes before prayer. Nail polish does interfere. Therefore, practicing Muslim women who care about water reaching their nail plates should be advised that they will still need to remove their nail polish before performing a spiritual wash and prayers. Marketers should be very careful not to overpromise what their products can do and should be clear about their limitations. Now, after 25 years of researching the natural nail, I've developed a very deep understanding of nail coating products and their chemistry. So I'm often asked, what about the future? Will there ever be a fully compliant nail polish that Muslim women can wear continuously and still pray regularly? Well, I do believe that someday a fully compliant nail polish that allows water to pass through the nail coating to wet the nail plate will someday be developed. To make such a huge technological breakthrough will require a significant research effort, which nowadays most cosmetic companies try to avoid. Only the biggest and best can take on a significant challenge like this. So it's not likely to happen anytime soon, and it's not likely to develop by some small company you've never heard of. To date, all the money has been spent on marketing of halal certification, and no one has really been willing to invest into a real research program to create a fully compliant nail polish. But with approximately 500 million practicing women of the Muslim faith and of nail polish wearing age, I suspect that sooner or later someone will create a useful and viable solution to this great unfilled need.